Trying to get in the reeds now. God. Jesus wept. Hi, well, I'm at Fields End Water today, which is my local water really, my local pit. I've been fishing it for years. The reason I decided to come here was that the shingles I mentioned a couple of weeks ago is still fighting me, or I'm fighting it, whichever way you like. I was going to come out a couple of days ago, but I felt so awful that I ended up laying on the couch all day watching back numbers have gone fishing. I really did feel awful, but I feel a bit better today. But I think it's going to be a while to shake off this. It's a pernicious thing, this shingles. Anyway, I'm at Fields End Water. When I got here this morning, I was the only one on the lake, which was quite amazing. I'll just give you a look at the lake if you like. Hold on a sec. Yeah, I fished it for years. I'm fishing the spot nearest to carp hock, basically because I didn't want a carp tackle. Anyway, I'm all set up and ready to go. I bought some hemp for ground bait today, some sweet corn. I've put a bit of hemp out and a little bit of sweet corn. I bought some worms and some luncheon meat. So it can be a tricky later in the year. I met a guy at the shop when I was paying, and he said he's going to the pool. The pool's another lake here, which is a lot easier, and he said it was too tough over there on the pit. So he may be right, and it may be a really tough day, but I just like the pit because you really never know what's going to turn up, and it is a bit tough. You can be catching rudd, and then the next minute you're into a carp or even a barbel. The pool is a lot easier if you want to catch fish. That's the place to go. But I just wanted a quiet day, and or quite a few hours really. I'll probably stay about 4 or 5 hours. Anyway, let's get going. Okay, here's the spot. I fished here before. I caught some carp. I think it was earlier this year. I caught a couple of carp and quite a lot of rudd. I was expecting perhaps a bit of wind, so I've put a long antenna float on, but I don't know if I really needed it, but there we go. I've got a shot sort of right down near the hook, and a couple under the float just to cock it. I've got my Hardy marksman rod here, specimen even 11'6". It's got quite a lot of power in it, just in case I get into something. My trusty old Speedio reel that I've had ever since I was a lad. Amazing thing. Look at that, just the weight of the float. Yeah. I'll start off on sweet corn, see what happens. Only trouble with the Speedio is you have to make sure the check's on, otherwise you can end up with a bird's nest. Yeah, I was saying in the intro I felt really rough. It's Thursday today. I felt really rough on Tuesday. I really did feel rough. I thought I was getting over it last week, but having sort of used Mr. Google to find out a bit more, it seems like this virus can hang on. It's a bit of a pendulum, this, isn't it? It's not the easiest to cast, really. Oh, that's odd. Why did that sink? It must be a bit deeper there. I plumbed it up. That bottom shot must be on the deck. Off the deck, I mean. Oh, I need to pull the float up a bit. Either that or I've got me shotting wrong. Right, well, corn's not doing anything. Perhaps try a bit of luncheon meat. I found on previous occasions here that the rudd seem to like luncheon meat, which I find quite peculiar, but they seem really to like luncheon meat. Right, a little bit of a luncheon meat, see what happens with that. Oh, yeah, I've not set this float up very well, have I? It's too much like a pendulum. Yeah, it's a bit deeper out there. Oh no, it's alright. Float's just shy. Well, I turned the video off because nothing was happening at all, and a couple of things have happened while the video was off. One is these dead reeds just down here were moving around. Something was foraging around in them, which was encouraging. And I'd put the rod in the rod rest and didn't have it in my hand, and I'd put a bit of luncheon meat out there, and I was sort of mesmerised by the float doing nothing when suddenly it disappeared, and I missed the bite. So, but anyway, something took luncheon meat, so it's encouraging. I lost my shot at the end. I've changed that dropper shot from a fairly big dropper shot to a smaller one. I'm holding the rod now, so if there's a repeat performance, hopefully we'll hook it. Yeah, I sat there looking at the float for it must have been a good 10 minutes, and it was just doing nothing, and then woof, gone. Maybe it was a rudd and it felt that bigger shot near the hook. So the shot actually came off, so I've changed it for a smaller version. Oh, I got another bite and I've hooked it. And it's not a rudd. Doesn't feel colossal, but it's quite powerful. But this time of the year, if it's a carp, they may be a bit more lethargic. Yeah, it's not giving in that easy. And that makes me think the original bite might have been a carp one. Oh, what are we doing there? Whoa. Oh. Oh. You don't want to know. Haven't seen it yet. But I think it's a reasonable fish. Whoa, I'm not seeing that much impression, like crikey. It's really powering away now. I'm getting a bit of a tired arm. Just hope that little hook holds. Oh. Every time I think I'm getting the better of it, it goes powering off again. It'd be nice to see it. I think this is a very good fish actually. So as long as you play it, the more chance there is of that hook coming away. Oh God, yeah. God. Jesus. I'm getting a tired arm. Oh. Oh, Jesus, it's just powering out. Can't stop it. It's not that big, is it? But boy, oh boy, is it going. I'm trying to get in the reeds now. God. Jesus wept. God. That hook is literally just in the edge of the mouth. Let's let you rest in there for a while, shall we? Ah, Jesus. Well, that was a performance, wasn't it? I did say earlier that the reeds down here were sort of moving around almost as if a carp was moving through them. Yeah, just let him have a rest, he's really fought hard. just in the corner of the mouth. Whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa. I can't get hold of the hook while you're doing this. That's it. Well, this net is 14 ounces, so that feels heavy. Right. Well, that's about, in fact, £10.14. So it's dead on £10. Okay, off you go. Off you go. Well, if we don't get anything else, that would have made the trip worthwhile today. Boy oh boy, did that fight. I didn't realise it was as big as that, to be honest. It's quite a slender fish, but very, very broad. As I say, almost exactly £10 I would put it at. It makes me think the bite I missed earlier might well have been a carp as well. It was a very similar bite. So they're obviously moving around the margins. Which is good news. So let me put another bit of luncheon meat out there. Go a bit further out, I think. Oh dear, not doing very well here, am I? When I hooked that carp, it first of all tried to dive into these these reeds here, but it turned very quickly, and I thought at that point it was probably not a very big fish, the fact I'd managed to turn it so quickly. But once it got going out there, God, every time I tried to stop it, it just went off again. Yeah, it was only just hooked in the side of the mouth. I think that's a 10 hook. So I was really worried that I've had fish on before here and played them for a long time only for them to come off. But I suppose fortunately carp have very rubbery thick mouths, so once the hook's in there, unless it's literally just nicked in the edge, it's probably going to hold on. Yeah, I had expected to get a bite from a rudd or something the first one off, not carp. So, you know, there's always a chance of the carp. They sort of go around these margins, and there's always a chance of one, but I didn't expect one as the first fish. Yeah, this is quite a powerful rod, fortunately, but I've only got £6 line on, so I can't use the full capability of the rod, to be honest. Probably need a heavier line to allow the rod to do its work. But on the other hand, if I'd bought a lighter rod, it probably would have been at its limit. The thing is, I was expecting sort of mixed sport today, so I didn't want to go overkill. I sort of didn't come targeting carp. Obviously, if you're targeting carp, you approach it somewhat differently. Although I knew there was a good chance one may come along. It might have been the same fish. I missed the bite the first time, actually. As I say, these reeds were moving earlier. There was something foraging around. I've put some more hemp out and sweet corn to sort of attract things in. But we don't seem to be getting any small fish, which is interesting. I'll try a worm in a minute. I bought some worms. I had some worms left over from a while ago, and I never really used worm here. I'm sure there's some good perch in here, but I've caught perch on luncheon meat here, but not big ones. But I've never really fished for the perch because I don't tend to use maggots and I don't tend to use worms here. In summer it's sort of bread, sweet corn, luncheon meat. There we go. Left it a bit longer. Yeah, it was always going to be a perch, wasn't it? And unfortunately, it's taking it right down. Let's go and get my discorder. I left it on the unhooking mat. Let's put you in there. Yeah, they're just going to be a little perch all the time, aren't they? Actually, that is a rudd. A very small rudd. Tiny, tiny rudd. Or is it a roach? I think it's a roach. That's a very tiny roach. Well, I'm back on luncheon meat. The worms were just producing small fish, which was presumably is what I would get if I was on maggots. Strangely, the corn didn't produce anything earlier on. Perhaps I'll try it again in a short while. Well, I just went for a stroll to stretch my legs a bit, and before I went, I sort of broke up some of my little cubes of luncheon meat and go out a little bit further than that, I think, and threw them in as free offerings. That's better. So we'll see what happens. Back on. Change the battery in my GoPro as well, so we're all ready to go. GoPro go. But things seem to have gone a bit dead. There's only about 3 or 4 people on the lake today, which is very, very quiet for a lovely day like this. I haven't noticed any other fish coming in. There are a couple of guys to my right on that bank over there. They're ledgering. Normally you notice if they catch because the action, you know, the commotion. But I haven't noticed it, so perhaps things are generally quiet at the moment. Excuse my voice being a bit gruff today. I think being a bit 1 degree under, I think I've got sort of a bit of a build up in my sort of bronchals. Who knows? Well, in an attempt to provoke a bite, I've put my rod in the rod rest. That's usually the best way of making sure that you get a bite, because the time you grab it, it's too late. But it has gone very quiet. The guy just came around to check the tickets and he said it's quite normal here for it to go quiet around about this time of day. And to be fair, I've experienced it in the past as well. So thing is, I'm not going to stay too late, so whether things kick off again before I go remains to be seen. Like most places, the best the best time for the margins here is just before dusk, and I think the carp sort of come in and pick up any bait that's been thrown in during the day. They're not stupid. So at the moment it's just a peaceful sort of sitting here. I was going to say watching nature. Other than a few noisy moorhens, there's not a lot going on. I had a blackbird down here earlier on having a bath in the shallows. That was quite interesting. But the only action at the moment are the moorhens, who are very active, splashing and plopping around. I thought I saw some movement in the reeds down here, but it might have been the birds, so I'm not 100% sure. Anyway, I brought the float and bait in a bit closer, just on the off chance if there's a carp sort of having a nose around near the reeds. But it hasn't resulted in anything happening. Something's taken the worm that feels a bit bigger. Yeah, it's a better fish. I think it's a rudd. Yeah, it's a rudd. So it's not just a small perch. All caught up in there. Oh, the hook's come out, which is good. So it's not just small perch, which is good news. That's a nice fish, actually. I knew you were going to do that. Let's get a better grip on you, shall we? Yeah, that is a lovely fish. The old rudd. Right, so the worm is doing the business. I've caught a very good rudd here in the past on luncheon meat, so I've broken one of my cubes of luncheon meat in half just to make it a smaller bait. See if it works. I put a lot of quite a few bits of free offerings out of luncheon meat earlier on. Whether that's attracted the rudd, I don't know. The blackbird's back down there. Probably can't see it. Having his little bath in the shallows down there. Meanwhile, the fish are not obliging at all. Absolutely dead. Real good bath down there, the blackbird. I don't know if I can turn the camera around a bit. You see him down there? I don't know. Perhaps you can, perhaps you can't. Two blackbirds actually flew across and landed in this bush. Obviously come over for bath time. These moorhens keep making big splashes and I keep thinking it's fish, but it's not. It's the blooming moorhens. Oh, that float's definitely lifting now. That is definitely a lift. Come on then. Come on, do something more than lift it. Oh, how did I miss that? Oh, curses. Well, I've just caught a carp and I thought the video was on. But unfortunately it wasn't. So you missed all that fun. But you'll be able to see the fish. It's a lovely fish. It's fully scaled. I think it's as heavy as the last one. God, this is a beautiful fish. There's the hook come out. Yeah, the hook's come out. Jesus. Well, that's dead on 11 pounds, so that makes it 10 pound 2 ounces. So that's 2 10-pound carp today. This can't be bad for a few hours fishing. I'm really kicking myself. I'm sure I gave in. This video is operated by voice, and I'm sure I gave the command, but perhaps it never responded. And I didn't know it wasn't recording until the camera switches itself off after a while if you're not recording. And it gives a few bleeps as it does that. And that was the first I knew. And that was just as I was getting the fish in the net. So, you missed that, guys, which I'm very sorry for, because it was really quite a battle. It all happened literally down here. It never ran out into the lake. It tried desperately to get into these reeds at first, and the rod was bent double, trying to stop it. I'm amazed the line didn't go. And it then proceeded for a few minutes just to go from one side to the other and circle round right in front of me here. Didn't go out there at all, and that was a hell of a battle at close quarters, because every time it turned it tried for these reeds and then it tried for those reeds, and I really was surprised that the hook held and the line didn't go, because it was, well, there we go. So sorry folks, this is the trouble with videoing. You know, you don't have the video on because nothing's happening, and then you try and switch it on when something happens, and in the heat of the moment it doesn't always happen. So all those bits of I think I may have lost a shot. Yeah, I have. The float's not cooking. In all the heat at the moment, and you don't sort of realise what's happening. Right, I've got to get another shot out the bag, so I'll come back to you when I've done that. Well, that's it for today. It was a good day. I enjoyed it, really great. As I say, I haven't been feeling too good this week, but it was a very relaxing day. I didn't have a lot of bites, but the ones I got were worth having. 2 lovely carp and a nice rudd. A few small perch came along as well. Yeah, it's a pity I don't think you're going to see, or I don't think you will have seen the second carp being played, because somehow or other I didn't switch the video on properly, so you saw it on the bank, but that was about it. I think I'm losing my voice today. I've been very gruff today. You've probably noticed it on the video. So anyway, thanks for watching. I'm making my way home now. Thank you to the subscribers as always, and thank you for those who make comments. I'm always pleased to get a few comments. So that's it. Goodbye to a lovely looking lake. Look at those autumn colours behind me. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Anyway, that's it. So bye for now, and cheers.